But one of the lives that was taken from us was an incredible 22-year-old nursing student right here in Georgia, Laken Riley. But just moments ago, this was just before coming up, they just told me prior to what I'm doing right now that Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Laken's murderer an illegal. He didn't want to call him illegal. He apologized.
Well, after the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media couldn't help but fall all over itself and have premature orgasmic climaxes over the Biden State of the Union, where we watched an 80-year-old man drugged up on speed ramble and yell and rant for 2 hours, literally uncontrollably, trying to make us think that we had just heard the greatest speech since, Churchill roused the English people to stand up against the Nazis. We knew there was one little area of that speech that was going to not sit well with the libloons when he referred to the killer of Laken Riley as an illegal. And he got some backlash and issued an apology, which opened the door not only for Donald Trump, but pretty much sealed Joe Biden's fate in the state of Georgia. Don't consider it a swing state. Just go ahead right now and chalk it red for Donald Trump.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you are a subscriber to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you notification of my rants, my ravings, and my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. That's how we get the word out that we're here. That's the only way that we can build up our algorithm so that YouTube will actually list us in things for people to watch and explore. Thank you so much for helping us grow our channel. We really could use some more subscriptions, and I thank you for being a part of the Afternoon Drive. While I already addressed this over the weekend, I'm going to go ahead and hit on the obvious. There is a reason Joe Biden will not close the border. There is a reason that he loves illegals and wants them here. And yes, I said illegals. I'm not going to call them migrants. I'm not going to call them neighbors or friends or simply undocumented workers or unregistered guests. They weren't invited, so they're not guests. They're here illegally, and they're wreaking havoc. They are a burden on our municipalities. They are breaking the financial backbone of many of our cities in this nation. They don't know where to put these people. They're going bankrupt trying to provide for them. American citizens are being pushed out of facilities that are for them so that the illegals have a place to go. In Chicago, the kids there can't use any of the youth centers or rec centers because they're all housing illegals. School kids in New York City are doing school again like it's the pandemic on the couch with a laptop because their school buildings are now being used as a place to, quote, store the illegals. Hotels can't take in any patrons because the government is footing the bill to put all these illegals in the hotel so they can absolutely trash the place. Oh, and we're giving them $1,000 debit cards so they can go out on a spending spree to buy more ball bats and things to beat on police and club old ladies and walk into our stores and rip and steal and pillage and pilfer so that the chain stores are now pulling out of the cities and people won't have anywhere to shop. Basically, they've come here to turn the United States into the third world toilet that they say they're trying to escape from. And Joe Biden doesn't care. And there's a simple reason. That's the big plan for 2024. They're going to be allowed to vote. They are going to be allowed to vote. When you hear the libloons and the Democrats talk about that voter ID is racist, no, actually saying that it's racist is racist. Because what you're implying, you white bourgeois liberals, you're implying that what, black people, people of color, aren't smart enough to be able to get a state-issued ID? You're saying that everyone that's black or Hispanic that we see driving a vehicle is doing so illegally? That all of the black and Hispanic people that fly on planes are allowed on without ID because it would be racist to ask them for ID? That is such bullhock. That is such racist bullhock. Of course, black people have state-issued IDs. They're called driver's licenses. And you have to have one to get on a plane. You have to have one to rent a hotel room. You have to have one to go to the bank and try to get a loan, especially for something like buying a house and wanting a mortgage or buying a business. So don't act like that you're doing a favor to African Americans. This is not an issue. The only ones who don't have ID are the people who are here illegally. And by the way, you know that they can get on planes and fly around the United States without ID? All they have to do is on the cell phone that they were given at the border is show their court date. That's all they got to do is just point to the court date, and they're given a free pass. They're given housing, they're given health care, and they can get on a plane. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome what we do for them? And in the meantime, we call a guy like Donald Trump who says, let's make America great again. Let's put America first. Somehow that's homophobic, xenophobic, and racist. Because we can fund wars all over the planet, but we can't provide health care for Americans? Is this something that's sinking in a little bit now? And I know many of you on the right disagree with me on the whole health care issue. I get it. I understand. But when you deal with as many people as I do that are literally going bankrupt paying for health care, you'd understand that maybe if we redirected all this money that is spent on these endless wars, and as I said over the weekend, and I will say it again, I do not understand the billionaire class wanting to be in bed with Joe Biden. There is a thing called optics, and he ain't got them. And it makes us weak in the eyes of the world. And I know the way you corporate billionaires are making your money is through the military-industrial complex. But you do know that Biden's not respected by anybody else around the world. And there are only so many quote-unquote wars we can be involved in on so many fronts before we just, get our fannies kicked. And that's the end. So can't you billionaires, can't you figure out a way to get behind the whole concept of make America great, put America first? Can't you figure out a way to make money off of that? That somehow not only benefits you, but is actually does a good thing for the country and the people who live here? Aren't you smart enough to do that? Good night. So, Joe Biden, giving his State of the Union address, wanted to, of course, go after Donald Trump and the Republicans. It was their fault we don't have border security, which is a bunch of bullhock. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she wasn't having it. She just wasn't having it. She just wasn't having it.
I'd be a winner. Not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Ooh, he called him an illegal.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
So over the weekend, he made his obligatory apology.
But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Lincoln Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect.
Well, Donald Trump was campaigning in Rome, Georgia on Saturday, and he met with Laken Riley's family. Now, Laken Riley's family refused to meet with Joe Biden. He mispronounced their daughter's name, even though he had it on a button in front of him, because Marjorie Taylor Greene was giving them out to people as they came into the State of the Union. There were even Democrats wearing the button. Laken Riley. He pronounced her name Lincoln. Lincoln. He didn't get George Floyd's name wrong. He never seems to get the names wrong of the people who are absolute degenerate pervert pigs who have lived a life of not only no value, but they have devalued the lives of the people around them. Those people get treated like heroes. They get monuments and murals and days named after in their honor. But Laken Riley, he can't even get his cognitive brain issues to line up for 3 seconds to properly pronounce her name. And I'll tell you, that's got people in Georgia ticked off. Ticked off. So that, on top of Fani Willis, you might as well put Georgia in the win column right now for Donald J. Trump. And I'm not kidding you on that. I'm here now. I can tell you. Even among the minority communities here, I can tell you it's a strong lean in the Trump direction. They get it. They understand what's happening. So Donald Trump responded to all of this.
But one of the lives that was taken from us was an incredible 22-year-old nursing student right here in Georgia, Laken Riley. From the time she was in the first grade, Laken's dream was to spend her life caring for others. And I met her beautiful mother and family backstage, sister, friends, some of her friends, a roommate. Then the unthinkable happened. 16 days ago, Laken went out for a morning jog. She was in great shape. She wanted to keep herself that way. And she never came back, never came back. They knew something was wrong. An illegal alien criminal who Joe Biden intentionally released into our country has been, and because he's released tens of thousands of people like this, tens of thousands, because you know they come from jails and they come from mental institutions. He released them into our country. Biden has implemented a formal policy that illegal aliens who intrude into the United States are granted immunity from deportation. Thus, when this monster showed up at our border, he was set free immediately under the program that Crooked Joe created. I call it free to kill. It's free to kill. On Thursday night, Joe Biden was confronted over this cruel policy. And what did Crooked Joe reply? And Marjorie, I have to say, you were very brave in trying to bring up a point. Very brave. But just moments ago, this was just before coming up, they just told me prior to what I'm doing right now that Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Laken's murderer an illegal. He didn't want to call him illegal. He apologized. He said he should have called him an undocumented, not an illegal, and he wanted to apologize. He wanted to apologize, and, well, they have a new name, too. They have a new name that's even worse. They have a new name. You know what the new name is? Neighbor. They want to call him Neighbor. They want to call him another name. Did you ever hear the other one? Newcomer. A newcomer to our country. Are we going crazy or what? Is this country going crazy? How about that one? Newcomer. The newcomer. No, he was illegal. And I say he was an illegal alien. He was an illegal immigrant. He was an illegal migrant. and he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
Boom, boom, and amen.
Joe Biden, and you understand what's happening here. Joe Biden has no remorse. He's got no regret. He's got no empathy, no compassion, and worst of all, he has no intention of stopping the deadly invasion that stole precious Laken's beautiful American life. We are profoundly honored to be joined today by the family and loved ones of Laken and some of her great friends. I met them. They're so incredible. The whole group is incredible. To Laken's parents, John and Allison, and her sister, Lauren, her roommate, Connolly, and to all of those who loved Laken, the hearts of hundreds of thousands and indeed millions and millions of Americans and people worldwide, they're shattered alongside of your beautiful hearts. We share your grief. We share your grief. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.